The plea for salvation. Captain Alina Reyes stood at the viewport of Earth Defense Station Artemis, watching the vast expanse of space stretch before her. 20 years in the Earth Defense Force had hardened her, but nothing in her experience had prepared her for what happened next. The alert klaxon shattered the quiet hum of the command center. Captain, anomalous energy signature detected near Jupiter's orbit, called Lieutenant Omar Singh, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. It's massive, and it's not one of ours. Elena straightened her uniform jacket. Display it. The main screen flickered to life, showing a swirling vortex of blue-white energy. As they watched, something emerged, a vessel unlike anything humanity had built. Its gleaming silver hull was shaped like an elongated teardrop, easily 3 times the size of Earth's largest battleship. "Are they broadcasting?" Elena asked. "Yes, Mom. On all frequencies. It's directed at us specifically." Elena's spine stiffened. Humanity had theorized about first contact for centuries, but they'd expected it to happen during deep space exploration, not here in their home system. "Put it through." The screen changed, revealing a humanoid figure with iridescent blue skin that seemed to shimmer with internal light. Its eyes were large, completely black, and set in a narrow face framed by tendrils that moved like underwater plants. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, its voice melodic, yet filled with unmistakable urgency. "I am Ambassador Thale of the Liriani Confederation. We come seeking your aid in a matter of grave importance." Within hours, Earth's highest officials had gathered. Elena found herself in an emergency summit at the United Earth Government headquarters in Geneva, sitting beside Admiral Chen, as Ambassador Thale addressed the assembly. "The Void Swarm first appeared at the edge of our territory 15 solar cycles ago," Thale explained, projecting 3-dimensional images of darkness that moved with terrible purpose. "They consume everything: organic matter, metals, energy itself. They leave nothing but dead worlds in their wake." President Karim leaned forward. "Ambassador, while we sympathize with your plight, our technology is primitive compared to yours. What could we possibly offer that would help against this threat?" Thale's tendrils rippled, what Elena was beginning to recognize as their equivalent of a solemn nod. "Your technology, yes, but your nature." The ambassador paused. "We have observed your species for many decades. Your history, your conflicts, your resilience. The Liriani have been peaceful for millennia. We create, we build, we explore, but we have forgotten how to fight." "You want our soldiers," Elena stated flatly. "We want your warrior spirit," Thale corrected. "In exchange, we offer technological advancement beyond your current projections. Faster than light travel, clean energy, medical breakthroughs." Defense Minister Okoro scoffed. "So we fight your war while you remain safely distant." "Minister," Elena interjected, studying the footage of worlds being consumed, "I think we should hear more." After the meeting, Elena was assigned to lead a research team alongside Dr. Maya Wong, Earth's foremost xenobiologist. They boarded the Liriani vessel to access their database and understand what they were truly facing. "Their biology is fascinating," Maya whispered as they walked the curved corridors of the alien ship. "Their species evolved without natural predators. Their stress responses are minimal compared to ours." Elena nodded. "That explains a lot. They literally don't have the physical capacity for prolonged conflict." In the data center, what they discovered chilled Elena to her core. "Dr. Wong, look at this tracking map of the Void Swarm's path." Maya's eyes widened as she processed the projection. "If they maintain their current trajectory, Earth is directly in their path. With or without the Liriani, we'll be facing them in less than 5 years." Later that night, Elena presented their findings to the Security Council. "These aren't just random attacks," she explained, pointing to the star chart. "The swarm is methodically harvesting resources, building their numbers, and moving through this sector with purpose." "And you're certain about their trajectory?" President Karim asked. Yes, Madam President. The Liriani data is comprehensive. The void swarm will reach our solar system in approximately 4 years, 7 months. Admiral Chen stood. Then we don't have a choice. We either fight them now, with allies and advanced technology, or we face them alone later. Within weeks, the alliance was formalized. The Liriani provided technological upgrades to Earth's ships and weapon systems. In return, Earth sent military advisors and tactical experts to Liriani worlds on the front line. Alina was given command of the EDF Intrepid, the first Earth vessel retrofitted with Liriani faster-than-light technology. Her mission: lead a joint strike force against a small void swarm outpost near the Liriani colony of Helios Prime. The plan is straightforward. Alina briefed her crew as they approached the target. The Liriani ships will provide long-range support while we lead the direct assault. Our objective is to neutralize the outpost without allowing any swarm units to escape and transmit our tactics. Lieutenant Singh looked skeptical. Captain, with all due respect, we've never engaged this enemy before. How can we be sure our tactics will work? We can't, Alina admitted. But the Liriani have tried defensive strategies for years without success. It's time for a more human approach. The battle began well. Earth ships maneuvered with an aggression that seemed to confuse the swarm vessels. Black, shifting masses that resembled both organic and mechanical components fused together. For the first hour, humanity appeared to have the upper hand. Then everything changed. Captain, Singh shouted. The swarm vessels. They're adapting to our attack patterns. Alina watched in horror as the void swarm ships began anticipating their maneuvers, countering with terrible precision. What had begun as a decisive strike turned into a 3-day nightmare of attrition. When it was over, half of Alina's strike force was destroyed or critically damaged. The Intrepid limped back to the Liriani staging area, its hull breached in multiple sections, carrying the wounded and the dead. In the medical bay, Alina sat beside Singh's bed, her uniform still stained with the blood of crew members she'd carried to safety. Her second officer's leg had been crushed when a support beam collapsed during the battle. They learn, Singh said weakly, collectively, like a hive mind. Alina nodded grimly. I saw it. By the 3rd day, they were countering our tactics before we executed them. Ambassador Thale entered the medical bay, tendrils drooping in what Alina now recognized as a gesture of mourning. Captain Rice, I cannot express our sorrow for your losses. Perhaps we were wrong to ask this of your people. Alina stood, her eyes hard. No, Ambassador, you were right about one thing. Humanity knows how to fight. But you were wrong about how we fight. I can understand. The Liriani approach has been defensive. Protect colonies, hold positions, minimize losses. That's not how humans wage war when our survival is at stake. Alina's voice grew cold. If we're going to fight the void swarm, we do it our way. No half measures. What are you proposing? Thale asked, tendrils quivering. Alina looked out the viewport at the stars. Total war, Ambassador. We don't just defend against the swarm. We hunt them down. We target their supply lines, their outposts, their breeding grounds. We don't stop until the threat is eliminated. Thale's skin paled to a lighter blue. Such aggression, the Liriani Council would never approve. Then they don't need to know the details, Alina replied. You asked for our help. You didn't specify how we would provide it. When Alina returned to Earth to report, the atmosphere was grim. President Karim listened silently as Alina detailed their losses and the swarm's adaptive capabilities. And yet you're recommending we continue this alliance? The president finally asked. I'm recommending we escalate, Alina corrected. The void swarm has already marked Earth as a target. This is no longer someone else's war. It's humanity's fight for survival. Admiral Chen nodded slowly. What exactly are you proposing, Captain? Convert our economy to war production. Retrofit every ship with Liriani technology. Develop specialized weapons based on what we've learned about swarm biology. Elena paused, then continued with steel in her voice. And authorize any measures necessary to eliminate this threat. The swarm doesn't abide by galactic conventions, neither can we. The room fell silent. Defense Minister Okoro spoke first. The resources required would be enormous. The Liriani would never agree to this level of military buildup. Earth has already begun production, Admiral Chen announced, surprising everyone. Every shipyard, every factory is being converted as we speak. President Karim studied Elena for a long moment. The Liriani begged for our help, Captain Reyes. Is this truly our answer? Total war? Elena met her gaze unflinchingly. When facing extinction, Madam President, humanity has never chosen surrender. The President nodded gravely. Very well. Effective immediately, Captain Reyes, you are promoted to commander. You will lead our forces in this conflict. As Elena left the chamber, Dr. Wong caught up to her in the corridor. Elena, I've been analyzing the biological samples we recovered. There's something you need to see. In Wong's lab, Elena stared at the holographic display. Are you certain about this? Completely, Maya confirmed. The Void Swarm isn't just consuming resources randomly. They're running from something. Something that terrifies them enough to make them consume entire worlds to fuel their escape. Elena's blood ran cold. So we're caught between the swarm and whatever's chasing them. Exactly. And if we don't stop the swarm now, whatever's behind them will reach us next. Elena finished grimly. Back at the Liriani Command Center 2 weeks later, Elena outlined Earth's new strategy to their alien allies. The Liriani military commander, Sentinel Vax, listened with growing alarm. This approach is extreme, Vax said, his tendrils twitching with agitation. The resources required, the casualties. We've lost 53 worlds following traditional methods, argued a younger Liriani officer named Kira. Perhaps it's time we listen to our human allies. As the debate continued, Earth prepared for war on an unprecedented scale. Every industry converted to military production. Training facilities worked around the clock. Using Liriani technology combined with human ingenuity, new ships and weapons were developed specifically to combat the swarm. From the bridge of her new command ship, the EDF Nemesis, Elena addressed the united human Liriani fleet. For the first time in our history, we face an enemy that will not negotiate, will not show mercy, and will not stop. This is not a war for territory or resources. This is a war for the right to exist. As she finished speaking, the alert sounded. A Void Swarm scout ship had been detected entering the Sol system. The enemy was already at their doorstep. Humanity's answer to the Liriani plea was about to be unleashed in full force. Humanity unleashed. The Void Swarm scout ship disintegrated under concentrated fire from Earth's defense grid, but Commander Elena Reyes took no satisfaction in the victory. This was merely the beginning. They'll send more, she told Admiral Chen during the emergency briefing. That scout was gathering intelligence. The main force won't be far behind. The Admiral nodded grimly. Then we strike first. Aboard the EDF Nemesis, Elena gathered her strike team commanders. Major Dante Jackson, former Special Forces, would lead ground operations. Captain Sophia Kim would command the support fleet. Dr. Maya Wong had been assigned as science officer, tasked with analyzing swarm biology in real time to identify weaknesses. The Liriani have provided coordinates for 3 swarm staging areas. Elena explained, highlighting points on the tactical display. Unlike previous engagements, we're not just hitting and retreating. We're going to systematically dismantle their network. Jackson studied the projections. The Liriani intelligence suggests these are hive nodes, coordination centers for the swarm consciousness. If we take them out, we disrupt their collective intelligence. Elena finished. Exactly. Dr. Wong stepped forward. Based on samples from our first encounter, I've developed a neurological disruptor that should temporarily confuse their hive mind. But I need to warn you, They'll adapt quickly. How quickly? Captain Kim asked. Hours, maybe less. The swarm learns from every encounter. Alina's expression hardened. Then we'll have to learn faster. The briefing was interrupted by the arrival of Ambassador Thale and Sentinel Vax. The Liriani military commander still seemed uncomfortable with humanity's aggressive strategy, but desperation had overcome his reservations. Commander Reyes, Vax began, our council has concerns about your proposed tactics. We discussed this, Sentinel, Alina replied coolly. Earth is committing everything to this fight. We do it our way. Some methods being proposed violate galactic conventions, Thale said quietly. Conventions the swarm never signed, Alina countered. Ambassador, I understand your concerns, but ask yourself, how many more Liriani worlds will fall while we debate ethics? The young Liriani officer, Kira, who had accompanied them, stepped forward. Commander Reyes is right. I've seen 3 of my homeworlds consumed. Traditional methods have failed us. Vax's tendrils rippled with reluctant acceptance. What do you require from us? Full access to your biological research, unrestricted use of your faster-than-light technology, and Liriani engineers to help modify our weapons. And in return, Thale asked. Alina's gaze was unwavering. We save both our species from extinction. The first coordinated strike, launched 3 days later. Unlike the previous disastrous engagement, this operation had been meticulously planned using everything they'd learned about swarm behavior. Major Jackson led his Special Forces team toward the first hive node, a massive structure that pulsed with dark energy at the heart of the swarm outpost. They wore specialized suits designed by Dr. Wong that masked their biological signatures from swarm detection. Position reached, Jackson whispered through the secure comlink. His team had placed neural disruptors at strategic points throughout the facility. Execute, Alina ordered from the bridge of the Nemesis. The effect was immediate and devastating. Throughout the outpost, swarm drones, amorphous creatures that seemed both organic and mechanical, began moving erratically, some freezing in place, others attacking their own kind. Phase 2, Alina commanded. The Earth fleet opened fire, but not in the conventional way the Liriani would have expected. Instead of targeting obvious defense systems, they hit specific points identified by Dr. Wong's research team. Nutrient distribution nodes, communication relays, and the biological systems that coordinated the hive mind. On the ground, Jackson's team fought their way to the central chamber. Inside was something they'd only seen in Liriani records, a Nexus creature, the local control unit for this section of the swarm. Target acquired, Jackson reported. The creature was massive, a writhing mass of tentacles and neural tissue surrounding a pulsing core. Deploying the toxin, his second-in-command announced, launching a specialized weapon developed from Dr. Wong's research. The weapon didn't fire bullets but delivered a concentrated dose of a neurological agent that attacked the swarm's unique biology. The Nexus creature convulsed violently, its tentacles thrashing wildly before going still. Throughout the outpost, swarm drones began to collapse, their connection to the hive mind severed. Nexus neutralized, Jackson reported. Beginning extraction. As his team retreated, they gathered tissue samples and data cores, invaluable intelligence for Dr. Wong's research. The Earth fleet continued its precise bombardment, methodically destroying key structures while leaving others intact for later study. When it was over, the swarm outpost had been completely neutralized, the first total victory against the Void Swarm in the history of the conflict. Aboard the Nemesis, Alina watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. Casualties. 3 wounded, none critical, her operations officer reported. Minimal damage to our vessels. Sentinel Vax, who had observed the operation from the bridge, stood in stunned silence. In one attack, he finally said, "Your forces accomplish what multiple Liriani fleets couldn't achieve in years." "This is just the beginning," Alina replied. "We struck before they could adapt to our tactics. Next time will be harder." Dr. Wong entered the bridge, her face grave. "Commander, you need to see this." In the science lab, Wong displayed data recovered from the swarm outpost. The swarm isn't just a mindless consumer of resources. They're organized, and they're running. Running from what? Elena asked. "I don't know yet," Wong admitted. "But whatever it is, it terrifies them enough to make them consume entire worlds to fuel their escape." The implications were staggering. If something existed that could frighten a force as devastating as the Void Swarm. News of the victory spread quickly through both human and Liriani space. For the first time in decades, the Liriani people felt hope. But among their leadership, reactions were mixed. The Liriani High Council requested an emergency meeting with Earth's command structure. First Speaker Ilara addressed Admiral Chen directly, her tendrils rippling with agitation. "We asked for your help, Admiral, but this level of aggression was not what we expected." "With all due respect, First Speaker," Chen replied, "you asked us to fight a war. This is how humans fight when our survival is at stake." As the diplomatic discussions continued, Elena prepared the fleet for their next target. A major swarm staging area that intelligence suggested contained multiple Nexus creatures and possibly even higher-level control organisms. "They're already adapting," Dr. Wong warned, showing Elena fresh data from monitoring stations. "The neural disruptors won't be as effective next time." "I expected that," Elena replied. "What's our counter?" "I've been working on something new," Wong revealed, bringing up schematics for a device that would not just disrupt but potentially redirect the swarm's neural network. "If this works, we might be able to turn portions of the swarm against itself." Over the next 3 months, the combined human-Liriani forces struck a dozen swarm outposts. Each victory came harder than the last as the swarm adapted to their tactics, but humanity adapted faster, developing new weapons and strategies with each engagement. The Liriani watched with a mixture of awe and horror as humanity unleashed its full military potential. Earth's industrial capacity, converted entirely to war production, churned out ships and weapons at a pace the peaceful Liriani had never imagined possible. More surprising to them was humanity's capacity for sacrifice. When a critical mission required a ship to hold position against overwhelming odds to allow others to target a vital swarm node, Earth crews volunteered without hesitation. "I don't understand," Kira confessed to Elena after one such mission. "Your people knew the survival chances were minimal, yet they didn't hesitate." "That's humanity's greatest strength," Elena explained. "When our survival is threatened, there's nothing we won't sacrifice to ensure our species continues." The turning point came 6 months into the campaign. Intelligence had located what appeared to be a major swarm-high ship, a massive vessel at least 10 times the size of the Nemesis, serving as a mobile command center for swarm operations in the sector. "This is our chance," Elena told the War Council. "If we can destroy this high ship, we'll set the swarm back significantly." The plan was audacious. While the main fleet engaged the high ship's defenses, Elena would lead a strike team directly into the heart of the vessel to deploy Dr. Wong's latest weapon, a genetic reprogramming agent designed to turn the swarm's rapid adaptation against itself. "This is beyond dangerous," Admiral Chen warned. "If you're captured, then you destroy the high ship with us inside," Elena finished calmly. "The mission comes first." The battle began as planned. The Earth fleet, supported by Liriani vessels, engaged the high ship in what appeared to be a conventional attack. Meanwhile, Elena's team, using stealth technology developed from Liriani cloaking systems, approached in a specially modified shuttle. "Breach point identified," reported Lieutenant Singh, now recovered from his injuries and serving as Elena's second-in-command. "Structural weakness on the ventral hull." The shuttle maneuvered through the chaos of battle, dodging weapons fire and debris until they reached the target point. Specialized cutting tools sliced through the high ship's hull, allowing Elena's team to enter. Inside was a nightmare of organic machinery. Corridors pulsed with what appeared to be blood vessels carrying nutrients and information throughout the massive structure. Swarm drones moved with purpose, ignoring the human intruders thanks to the stealth technology that masked their presence. "Move quickly," Alina ordered. "We need to reach the central chamber before they detect us." The team advanced deeper into the vessel, placing charges at key junctions as they went. Insurance for their extraction, or if the mission failed, to ensure maximum damage. When they finally reached the central chamber, what they found left them speechless. A massive brain-like structure dominated the space, connected to thousands of neural pathways that extended throughout the ship. Around it hovered what appeared to be higher-level swarm entities, not mindless drones, but what Dr. Wong had theorized might be the thinkers of the collective. "Deploy the weapon," Alina commanded. Singh activated the device Dr. Wong had created. It began emitting a specific frequency that, according to her research, would rewrite portions of the swarm's neural coding, essentially creating confusion about what constituted self versus other in the hive mind. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Then one of the thinker entities turned and attacked another. Throughout the chamber, chaos erupted as the swarm began to turn on itself. "It's working," Singh breathed. "Time to extract." As they retreated, the internal conflict spread throughout the hive ship. Swarm drones fought each other, defense systems targeted their own structures, and coordinated movement broke down completely. By the time Alina's team reached their shuttle and launched, the hive ship was tearing itself apart from within. The Earth fleet delivered the final blow, targeting the weakened sections with concentrated fire. The explosion was visible across the sector, a massive release of energy as the hive ship disintegrated. In the aftermath, as Alina debriefed with Admiral Chen and the Liriani High Council, Dr. Wong made a startling discovery from the data they'd recovered. "The void swarm isn't natural," she announced. "They were created, bioengineered as a weapon thousands of years ago by a species we have no record of." "A weapon?" First speaker Ilara asked, her tendrils quivering. "For what purpose?" "Based on the genetic markers, they were designed to consume specific resources and convert them into materials for their creators. But something went wrong. The swarm broke free from control and began consuming indiscriminately." "And what are they running from?" Alina asked the question that had haunted her since they'd discovered the swarm's flight pattern. Wang's expression was grim. "They're creators. The genetic coding contains what appears to be a recall signal, a command to return. The swarm is consuming worlds to grow strong enough to resist that command." The implications silenced the room. Somewhere in the galaxy, a civilization powerful enough to create the void swarm still existed and might be searching for their wayward weapon. In the days that followed, the Alliance shifted its strategy. With the destruction of the hive ship, swarm activity in the sector decreased dramatically. For the first time, they had gained a significant advantage. On the observation deck of the Nemesis, Alina stood beside Kira, watching as a fleet of Earth vessels, newly constructed with Liriani technology, departed for the front lines. "Your people continue to surprise us," Kira said quietly. "When we came to Earth begging for help, we expected advisors, perhaps some tactical support. We never imagined this." Elena watched the ships vanish into faster-than-light transit. The Liriani asked for humanity's help against extinction. "This is our answer." "Total war," Kira murmured. "Yes," Elena confirmed. "But there's something else humanity brings to this fight, something perhaps more important than our capacity for violence." "What's that?" "Hope," Elena said simply. "The belief that no matter how dark things seem, survival is always possible if you fight hard enough." As reports came in of swarm forces in retreat across multiple sectors, Elena knew the war was far from over. The swarm would adapt again. They would find new strategies, new ways to fight back. But now, humanity was part of the equation, and humanity had never accepted extinction as an option. In the vast emptiness of space, the balance had shifted. The Liriani had begged for salvation, and humanity's answer was unleashing every weapon in their arsenal, Every strategy their war-torn history had taught them, every ounce of their legendary determination. The message to the Void Swarm, and whatever force had created them, was clear: threaten humanity's existence, and they would respond with overwhelming force. For when pushed to the edge of extinction, there was no species in the galaxy more dangerous than humans fighting for survival. The battle for the future had only just begun.